So number 3, and this is where Lettuce comes in, or you can choose a different option. Open a business bank account, team. So a lot of people will ask me at the beginning, like, do I need to become an LLC? How many of you are an LLC in here? Drop a 2 for me if you're an LLC already. Yeah, so a lot of you are. Love it. So I always recommend that people become an LLC instead of being a sole proprietor. Basically, those two entities are the same thing. When you face your taxes, you're still going to fill out a Schedule C. However, there's a difference in terms of your mentality when you become an LLC. And one of those things that's different is that you're a little more official in the world when you're signing a contract with a employee or a client. You're actually on equal playing fields. You're both companies, and you can open up a business bank account because you have an EIN. So one of the things I love about Lettuce is they actually do this for you. So if you don't have an LLC set up, if you don't have a business bank account set up, this is where they actually help. And they can transition you into an S Corp as well, which is what we did this year. But I want you to have a business bank account because it splits up your money. So you're not just dumping all your money in your personal savings or in your personal checking, which is what I did the first time around when I was a freelancer. I was like, I don't know, this money is just going in there, right? Like it's just dropping into my account. It gets really messy really fast, especially as you start to earn more. Amanda, some banks will allow you to open up a bank account as a sole proprietor, but it's usually a personal checking, not a business bank account. You have to check with the bank. Sometimes if you have an EIN, an employer identification number, that's enough, but it depends on the bank. Most of them want you to have a business license because you get checks that have your business on it, right? Like you get a card that has your business on it. But I want you to split these up. And I want you to pay yourself a paycheck. And this is where people get a little bit like, what? Like, I can pay myself a paycheck as a freelancer? And like, you can. Does anybody do this? Say me in the chat if you do this. And remember, Charlie, drop your questions in the question box. Otherwise, I'll lose them. Yeah, Lonnie and Jen do. And I've always done this as well. So here's how this works. I'm going to get paid. And you can do this whether you're an S Corp or not. And I'll explain what an S Corp is in a minute. But I'm going to get paid throughout the month by my clients, right? Boop, 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 boop. That money is going to drop into my business bank account. Then what I'm going to do per these slides is I'm going to set aside 25 to 35%. And I want to do a big caveat here that I am not an accountant. You need to ask your accountant about what this rate should be based on your situation. But I tend to put aside about 25 to 30% in a high interest savings account. So every time I get a little paycheck from my client, I pull that money out and I stick it in Discover Bank where it gets 5% interest. So this is actually a really easy way for you to make money off your money if you're not already doing this. So the process is get paid, put some money over there, and then the rest of the money is sitting in your business bank account and you're going to pay yourself the survival number each month. Whatever's left will pad you for the months when you make less. So if you're making 20K one month and then 2K the next month, that evens things out. So instead of spending the whole 20K and then feeling panicked the next month, it actually evens things out a little bit. And once you start to have a little bit more margin, you may also do this with your ideal number, not just the survival number. If you are an S Corp, which is a different designation, and people are always asking me like, when can I become an S Corp? Like, is it worth it? The standard advice is once you're making about $100,000, it's worth it. And Lettuce is giving everybody in this session a free business assessment. I had them do one for me for the year when I was not an S Corp, and I could have saved $5,500 that year, which is like not a small amount of money if I'd become an S Corp. So the difference with an S Corp is you pay yourself a paycheck for about 60% of your earnings. That's taxed. About 40% of your earnings you just take as a distribution, like you're used to probably doing now as a freelancer. You just dump it into your account and you don't pay taxes on the distribution. So you do have to figure out a way to process payroll. But again, like Lettuce does this for you. I really wish I'd known about them when I made the switch. But it's cool. So if you want to figure out what it would look like to be an S Corp, do one of their business assessments. I'll send you the info. After the fact, Sean can drop, Sean, will you drop that info into the chat right now that I emailed you just so they can look at the link as well? And again, that'll be in the follow-up note, but this is your process, right? So get paid, put some money into taxes, let it sit there, let it earn money for you, pay your quarterly estimated taxes, and then pay yourself a paycheck at the end of every month so that you have some buffer. That buffer for your nervous system is like, oh, it's delicious, you guys. It's so good. It helps. It really helps. Okay.